Lynn Fraser's going to help your finances get into shape. Financial Fitness with Lynn Fraser on Family Radio CHRI.
Good morning and welcome to the Financial Fitness Show with Lynn Fraser. I am in the studio today with Daryl Prale. Welcome back, Dale. Daryl.
Well, I see you've missed me. You can't even get my name right.
It's not that I've forgotten you. It's just that my tongue isn't working all that well this morning.
Is that a byproduct of what you were doing this weekend? Weekend past.
Yeah, it shouldn't be because I did run a half marathon, but I typically do that with my legs and feet, not my tongue.
So you're not tongue-tied from that. How'd that go, if you don't mind me asking?
It was amazing. I made a commitment to enjoy it, which was that commitment to enjoy it was harder than the commitment to actually training and preparing because I really don't like to run much.
Right.
So I made a commitment to enjoy it, and I did. I loved it. There was music all along the route. There was 25,000 runners.
This is in Toronto?
In Toronto, right? Marathon, half marathon. It's crazy.
25,000.
25,000. So there was people lining the route. There was music. There was speakers. There was people holding signs, funny people. It was, I ran with some funny people. It was fun. It really was.
You wouldn't want to have agoraphobia, fear of crowds when you're with 25,000 people all around you, I assume. A little crowded at the start, or how does that work?
Yeah, a little crowded, but they launch it in waves. And so.
And you did, how was your time? You're happy with your time?
I'm happy with my time. I ran faster than I had wanted to run. And it was only really the last 3 kilometers were particularly difficult. When I crossed the line, I thought, okay, I can't walk anymore. My feet and my legs hurt, which is not a surprise. But within an hour, I was fine. And I woke up Monday morning without any pain, and wow. I was absolutely amazed. So obviously, I was ready. I was trained up.
But of course, this show isn't just about your personal fitness. It's also about financial fitness.
No, it's not about my personal fitness at all. Let's talk about more important things.
Well, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about the Financial Fitness Show itself. I'm excited about that because this show has been a focus for me for the last 5 years. Daryl, it's hard to believe. It's coming up on 5 years, almost 300 episodes recorded. And we're going to talk about the show itself today.
Almost 5 years? Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
I know. That's a lot of shows.
Does it feel that old?
No.
No? And that's a lot of shows. Does it feel like there's that many shows to you?
No.
All right. Well, for those who are listening, talk to me about how the show all started. Take yourself back 5 years plus a little bit, I guess. Uh-huh. And how did it come to be? I'm kind of curious. What's the story?
I was actually encouraged because I heard the chiropractors doing a half-hour show, and I'd been a supporter of CHRI. I'd been advertising on CHRI for a number of years. I was on the board at CHRI. I love CHRI, and so I heard the chiropractor show, and I thought, that's brilliant. I could do that. I would love to do a financial fitness show. So I contacted the station and said, what do you think? And they said, absolutely, we'd love that. So being that this message on financial fitness is one that's been important to me for a long time, I wanted to get it out to a broader audience, and I thought it was a great venue.
Now, in the early days, how was it? Because had you done radio or any kind of?
No.
You've done public speaking, of course, for years and years and years, but you'd never done radio.
No, I had not.
So how was it for you to be, shall we say, produced and to have input on your direction? When, for those who don't know Lynn, because we all know her on the radio, but if you haven't picked it up, let me assure you, she's confident, but she also knows what she wants. She's little. She knows what she wants.
Really?
So taking some direction, the whole 9 years, how did that go?
Well, actually, the first couple of shows, from my perspective, were just brutal because I did the first 2 shows by myself in a studio.
Oh, so you had nobody?
I had nobody with me. I was by myself in a studio speaking for half an hour. And when I came out, I went, oh my gosh, that's the longest half hour of my life. I can't.
I'm exhausted.
It's awful. I didn't like it at all. And they said, well, Lynn, you're not an introvert. And you really should have somebody in the studio with me. I said, well, that's a great idea. Why didn't somebody say that before? I didn't know. So I didn't know what I didn't know. So it just made sense. The next time we brought somebody into the studio, and bam, I loved it. It was just like having a conversation with my best friends.
And you are, I mean, again, if you can't tell, Lynn is definitely not shy. She's fun. She's social. She laughs a lot. And I can totally see that would have almost been exhausting for that. Would have killed you without the gas. Oh. And then a dramatic difference with the gas.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, but I guess for those who don't know, if it's not clear, I mean, so financial fitness is your passion.
Yes.
But you also do have a business that you're involved with. So is there a correlation there? I mean, I'm kind of setting you up because clearly there is, but talk to us about how, what it is you do versus the show and how they work and complement one another.
Sure. Daryl, when I launched the mortgage practice, I did that as a foundation to teach these principles. I had been in the financial world, working for a financial company for a number of years, and I left that company after I came to know Christ because I didn't see a fit for my faith in the work that I did. And so I left the financial world, and then I really believe that God called me back and said, no, I gave you some tools. I gave you the training. I have a plan and a purpose, and I want you to use them. So launching the mortgage practice was to have that platform to bring Christ into the lives of the people that I served, to bring financial principles from a biblical perspective into the lives of the people that I served, and to really help to serve in this area so that they could understand how to live more freely in their financial world. So that's why the whole mortgage practice was started. I knew it was a great launch pad for that. And so I started doing financial fitness seminars shortly after. Actually, Ken Decker and I started doing them in the early years, and as a way of teaching. And from there, things just grew. I discovered that it wasn't enough to teach on finances. The initial consultations I had around mortgages and the financial fitness seminars gave some basic information, but it really wasn't enough to change lives long term. Because it's a tough area. It's a tough thing for people to make changes in this area.
There's so much in what you just said, if I can unpack it a bit. One was you had left the industry, and then God spoke to you and said a couple of things. I heard him say, I've given you these gifts, gifts and skills, which is so important because every single buddy listening has been blessed by God with so many gifts.
Yes.
And we don't often appreciate the very gifts he's given us and understand that, and this leads to the second point, we're to use those gifts to give back. And so I love the fact that you heard his voice, but I even love more that you were obedient to him. Was it when you launched the practice, when you launched the show, was there an element of fear, or was it just the confidence that, the Lord has spoken, I trust him?
Well, a little bit of both. I was a relatively new believer, and so I was kind of naive in my faith, which is a wonderful place to be. As a new believer, often we have this exuberance. I wasn't a kid when I met Christ. I was in my 40s. So I had lived the other side of the tracks all my life, and suddenly I had this introduction to Christ, and it changed my life instantly. Where I went, it was so night and day from how I'd lived before and what I'd known before. I just believed him. And so when I read in the Word that he would provide for my needs, I just said, okay, well, I'm gonna take you to task on that. If that's what your Word says, your Word must be true. And so I'm going to launch out and I'm going to live according to biblical principles, and let me see how that goes. I just want to watch you at work. And so, yeah, there was some fear at times, but there was never a time that I came up short. Daryl, I launched my mortgage practice. I went and bought a laptop and a Bible and a phone. Oh, and I think the first one wasn't even a laptop. It was a desktop. Desktop, a phone, and a Bible. And I said, oh, God, I don't know how to run a business according to biblical principles. What does a business that is built to advance the kingdom of God look like? And so I would sit in a little back room, a little bedroom in my house, and I would pray and say, okay, God, who do you want me to talk to? What do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do next? And it was really that simple. I just got the answers. And so I did what I was told. I did what I heard. And I heard some pretty profound things in those early days. I remember when I hired my first employee, she had left a full-time job where she had been for a long time and with a decent salary. And I convinced her to come and work with me. And, well, I don't think I could have convinced her. She believed that she heard from God that she was to come and work with me. But it was a test for me because I thought, oh my, if I don't earn more income, like she's going to suffer. I wasn't worried about me, but I was concerned about her. And and about 2 or 3 months in, I saw that there wasn't enough business on the board or in the pipeline, as the expression would go. And so this one morning I said, we need to pray, Terry. Terry is her name. I said, Terry, we need to pray because we don't have anything in the pipeline and we don't have enough income. And so we need to ask. And so the two of us prayed together that morning. And within 3 hours, the phone hadn't stopped ringing. And in fact, that it was like the floodgates opened. And so then we had to pray in the afternoon and say, okay, God, thank you so much for being faithful. Could you just slow it down a little bit? It's like drinking from a fire hose. And that's just the truth of how he had to teach me what it was like to trust and to follow and to listen and to believe that he's a provider, or I couldn't help anybody else in this area. And so he taught me in the early days.
And as you're dealing with financial crisis, as every listener out there has dealt with it, whether it be debt or budgeting or unexpected issues, it is all about belief you're going to get through it and that he will provide. That is an amazing story. I love the humility behind that and the obedience. Now, from that, we've got the business, we've got the show. You started off by yourself, then you said, I need guests. And you've had a variety of hosts with you over the years. You mentioned Ken Decker, of course. I mean, I don't want to pretend I've not been around for 5 years. Who are some of the hosts that have participated with this?
Oh my God. Well, here's one of my concerns in answering that is because I have had so many amazing local people on this show over the last years that, So if you don't hear your name, it's just because it's not because you're not important. It's just because my brain doesn't always function really quickly.
That's right.
Yes. Thanks,
and we still love you.
Thanks, Daryl. Yeah. But yes, I've had Ken and Yetta Decker and Ryan Decker on the show. David and Rebecca Van Noppen and Rick Harper. They have been staples in the show. David has been, he's just such a pillar in this area and a great partner in business and such wealth of information and knowledge and an obedient follower of Christ. All of those things. David has been a real pillar in the show with me, and Rebecca, his wife, of course, is amazing, and she's been there. Rick Harper was a partner in More Than Enough for a number of years, and Rick has he's brilliant. He's a great mind when it comes to finances and a great heart. There's just so many. Plus, all the people there's been so many people that have benefited from the More Than Enough financial fitness coaching that have come on the show and given their testimonies of how God has used the program and has set them free and changed their lives. Like lots.
And the hosts, this is kind of important to know. The hosts are varied. Like David brings a very different perspective than Rebecca and their husband and wife. Yeah. All right. Then you, then me. Yeah. And that is intentional by design, is it not?
It is. We like to have variety, and in fact, we're looking to the future and having more variety and more changes and more controversy and more interesting things to come.
And that's really a large catalyst behind this session today. What we're talking about today is, yes, we're celebrating 5 years and almost 300 shows, but even more so, we're celebrating the next 5 years and the next 1,000 shows. Is that not true?
I thought you were going to say the next 1,000 years. I thought, who's going to be the host then? No. That's a big vision.
If that's a 1,000-year commitment, I want to raise. So there we go.
That's a big vision. We are. Daryl, I love the listeners of this show. And there, one of the things about being in a studio doing a radio show is that at the most you're talking to one person or two people, or it appears that way. And so you forget. It's easy to forget that there's people listening to the show. And so over the years, there's been a number of times where I've wondered, has it run its course? Have we said all that needs to be said, and with all the people that need to say it? And are people still listening? And are they still interested? And are they still receiving some value from the show? And yet, wherever I go in the community, just when I need it most, God will send someone over to say, Lynn, I just want you to know I've been listening to the shows for a number of years, and I have changed. It has changed my life. I have gone back and I've listened to everyone on the website, and you do good work, and just keep on going because it's valuable. And so I've heard that message given to me a number of times. And so that kind of encouragement and that kind of feedback means a whole lot. It means a lot to me, but more importantly, I think it means a lot to the listeners. The purpose of this show, the Financial Fitness Show, is to change the lives of the people that are listening for good. I want people to be set free so that they can step into what they're called to do. God created each and every one with gifts and talents and abilities and skills that are unique to them alone. And finances is the thing that either stands in the way or facilitates their purpose. And so I want it to be a way of facilitating their purpose.
It's amazing, right? Because God will always speak to us, whether we hear him as another story, right? Mm-hmm. And he may speak to us in our prayers, he may speak to us in scripture, or he may speak to us through the voice on the radio. And we are so blessed to be an instrument for him as he chooses. And it's amazing because whether it's an audience of thousands or an audience of one, something we're saying makes an impact every week. How's that changed you as a person?
Oh. Well, first of all, it keeps me on my toes, and it causes me to continue to change and grow. It has to. I'm not the same person as I was 5 years ago. And I haven't done this financial walk perfectly myself. I have stumbled, I have fallen, I've had challenges, I've grown, and but he has surrounded me with amazing people that I'm accountable to and that I walk with. And the show itself causes me to continue to go deeper into his word, deeper into my relationship with him, because I really do believe this is his show. It's not my show. And so if I'm not open and I'm not ready to change and grow, then I'm nothing, because it's his show.
Now, moving forward, we're seeing a lot more, of course, on purpose with Dave and Rebecca. So is there, what's the reasoning behind that? What's their role?
So there has been a shift in roles at More Than Enough Financial Fitness. David actually helped in designing the More Than Enough coaching system. He primarily, I had some initial thoughts, and then he took it and ran with the design. And he was the head coach at More Than Enough and has coached hundreds of people in terms of their financial fitness, and has done an amazing job. So over the last 2 years, David has also become involved in the mortgage practice and has learned that whole process and how to do mortgages well in a way that facilitates financial fitness for the clients. And he actually does it better than I do. Like David's level of integrity and customer service is, without question, he does an amazing job. And so he and Rebecca have taken on the lead role at More Than Enough. The day-to-day operations and the coaching and the mortgage part of the business, that they've taken the lead role, and which allows me more time to do exactly what I'm doing now. It allows me more time for radio. It allows me more time to do financial fitness workshops around the city, around the province, and around the country, and around the world, as a matter of fact. And so I'm excited about what that means. But David and Rebecca they are the pillars in More Than Enough.
So it's a natural transition, and this is a great transition point. So moving forward, is there going to be a change in the show and the format and the feel? What are we looking at?
That's up to the listeners. because this show is for them. And that's the purpose of having this show today, is to talk about how important the listeners are to us. And we really want to know from them what's going to have the greatest impact and the greatest value to them. And so what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks is we're asking for people to respond to a survey, to participate in a survey. It's going to be posted on the CHRI website. If you click the Financial Fitness logo, the survey is posted there. It's going to be available through the morethanenough.ca website. We're going to put it on social media, and we're going to let people know how to access this survey. But we want you to complete the survey because we want to know what's going to bring the most value to you, our listeners.
So a little bit about the survey. It's 10 questions, all right? So this will take you, my goodness, 100 seconds. It's almost that fast to do, all right? Because it's a simple thing is we want to understand, how often do you listen to the show? Are you a once a year, once a month, or every week type listener? How do you like to listen to the show? Well, of course, it began on radio. We're in a podcast world now. So do you listen? Do you subscribe and just listen to it on demand? Or do you go to the website? Like you mentioned, some of your listeners, they've listened to everything. They've gone on the website, heard all the historical archives, and they do it that way. We want to know what you value the most in the show format, whether it be expert guests, testimonials, personal stories, tips and tricks, technology, whatever it might be. Do you like a live call-in format, which we had for a period of time?
We had 1 year of a live call-in show. It was fun to do.
Yes, it was fun to do.
It's fun to do.
It was a lot more stressful for me, but hey,
yeah, me too.
Don't you worry. Yeah. You never know what you're getting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Or do you prefer like this, one-on-one, fireside chat conversation? Where do you listen to the show? All right. Do you have any episodes that really stand up for you and helped you the most? And if you could change, one thing about this show, what would it be? And of course, there's just a catch-all box which says, give us any feedback you have.
Yeah. So we want to encourage our listeners to respond to the survey. We really care about how we reach you. We want to add value to your lives. It really is all about you. And so we want your feedback. We want you to respond to the survey. We're actually going to... anyone that does fill out the survey will have a chance to win a dinner for two at the Keg to say thank you. That would be a nice thing.
That would be nice.
Maybe they'll invite me to join them. That'd be fun.
That would be. You could be the two. You could be the one.
I'd like to do that.
Maybe they give it back to you and I, and we could go on their behalf.
I doubt it. No, Daryl, it's not about you. Just so you know.
I'm sorry. I know. You keep telling me this. So does my wife. I gotta learn. So what's really cool here is that the show has accomplished so much, but it has so much it still has to accomplish. And we have bigger aspirations for this show. We want to take it beyond the local community. We want to reach a broader audience.
Yeah.
And we need your help. We need you, the listeners' help, to shape the show for that success. And we're willing to bribe you for it with dinner for two at the Keg.
And you get to choose whether you want me to go with you or not. You don't have to have me come. If that becomes a deterrent, don't let it stand in your way.
Absolutely. So if you're on our mailing list of More Than Enough, we're going to send you an email soon, once or twice, just to say, here's a link to the survey. Otherwise, go to the website, as Lynn says, whether it be the morethanenough.ca or it be chri.ca under the Financial Fitness Show. And you'll see links there for the survey. 10 questions, probably 100 seconds. You're in, you're out, and you've influenced the outcome, just like this week, you probably influenced the outcome of the national elections. Change is in the air.
Oh dear, we don't want to go about that, David. You know what, Daryl? Based on that, like our time is coming to a point where we need to pray.
Yep.
And based on the election results, I think we really need to pray.
We really need to pray.
We really need to pray.
And it's a democratic society, so if you are happy with the outcome, then God bless you. And if you're not happy with you, well,
then God bless you.
God bless you. So there we go.
And we need to continue to pray. Don't stop praying now. We need to pray more.
But even though the show format is changing, the mission is still the same, right?
Yes.
It's to reach people and to help them where they're at. I mean, is that right?
Whatever the starting place is, wherever you are in your financial journey, there is an answer. He has an answer. He's willing to help, and so are we. There's financial fitness workshops on a regular basis. More Than Enough FinancialFitness.ca has a list of the events coming up. And we want to hear from you.
So let me ask you this one quick question. Is there one moment in the last 5 years that stands out for you? Top of mind. Don't think about it.
No.
That's an honest answer.
No, there isn't. It's been a journey. I have loved doing this show, and I continue to love it, and I'm looking forward to the next 5 years. I couldn't pick one.
Yeah.
I can't pick one.
I look forward to that. Now, what's happening at our next show?
I need to pray, and then I'm going to come back to that.
All right.
Okay.
Go for it.
Because it's prayer time. And so, Father, I thank you that you are available to each of us when we call. Lord, I thank you for the people that are listening today, and I thank you for all of those loyal listeners who have responded and have given feedback. And Lord, I just pray that you'll prompt them today to think about what they need, think about how they want to receive it, and ask them, Lord, prompt them to respond, to let us know what it is that you're calling them to and how to best serve them. Lord, it really is all about them, and it's really all about you. So, Lord, we lift all of this up into your hands, and I pray for each one's financial journey that you'll give them the wisdom, the discernment, the courage, the strength, and the direction to take the next steps on their own personal journeys. And I give you all the praise and the glory in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Daryl, you know that's just an important part of what I do here. So
it shouldn't just be built here, though. It should be everywhere.
I agree, 100%.
100%. And it's easy to forget that.
So next show, I'm excited about the next show. I am really excited about the next show. John Council, Ask the Pastor, guy from CHRI or CFRA. I better get that clear.
Different radio station. Ask the Pastor. He's on every weeknight, Monday to Friday. And Wednesdays particularly are his Ask the Pastor night.
Yeah. And
I love his Fridays too, which are his trivia nights. I'm a big fan of the trivia.
Me too. So John Council, he's radio guy, radio personality. He is Mr. Controversy. He's going to be great fun to have on the show. He's here next week. And we're going to be talking about, when it comes to finances, is the Bible believable and why? So
I think we should start the next show by asking him where he had just arrived from before he gets to the studio. And we'll name off every bizarre, innocuous city, village, urban location name that he does in every single show. We should connect the two shows that way. John Council, he is out there. He's loud. He is opinionated. He's not shy. He's pastor of the Bikers Church, right? Pastor of the Bikers Church. I mean, right there. This is must-listen radio next Friday. Yeah, so don't forget to tune in next week to the Financial Fitness Show. Don't forget to get online and answer the survey. We love you. We love to hear from you, and we look forward to spending time again with you next week. Have an amazing day filled with hope for today and freedom for tomorrow. God bless.